Good morning, everyone. So, today we will be taking a class on communication. So, students, before I get into the chapter communication, let's give me a brief introduction about myself. I am Smita Ranjan. I'll be taking your communication classes. If you have any doubts, like most of the time we do interactive classes where I always ask my students to ask me doubts wherever they have, and they ask me doubts, we do it instantly. But here, if you have any doubts, you can put your doubts at the description or comment. We'll try to give you the answers. Okay, so getting back to the class, this topic, communication, is a very important topic. When you are talking of communication, students, get into the topic communication. Here, what we are doing, let's talk about what is communication. Communication is the process of transferring the message or the data from one person to the other person. So, once again, communication. So, if I have a data, I need to transfer it to the other part. You can say from one place to other, or you can say one person to other person. So that is communication. So when the data is transferred from one person to other person and it reaches there, that is called a communication. So friends, when I'm talking of communication, I have something else to say, the types of communication. Today we will be discussing about the varieties of communication, types of communication, advantages, disadvantages, barriers, everything. So coming to the first part, what is communication? So as I told you, when the data is being transferred from one person to other, that is communication. Now, the best example that I can give you right now is what I am trying to do with you people. Okay, I am trying to communicate to you people. So if I am trying to say something, I have something in my mind, and if I am trying to say something to you people, and you people get it, you people understands it, that is communication. Now, there is one more term, proper communication, or what we say, good communication. What is a good communication, or what is a proper communication? Suppose this is a transmitter. That means this is a person who is having a message in his mind, and this is the receiver, like the person who wants to take the information. Now, when the person who is sending the message and the person who is receiving the message, it reaches to the receiver, or it reaches to the person who wants to take it with a perfect note, without any loss, that is called proper communication. Once again, when the person who sends the message reaches to the receiver without any loss, or the exact message as the person intended to say, is called proper communication or good communication. Now, I'll give you an example of it. Like if I'm saying something, you people understands it properly. Everything that I'm trying to make you understand it properly, perfectly. That is called proper communication. If you have any doubts, in between, you want to ask me doubts, I clarify the doubts, then again it will be a continuous process where we'll reach to proper communication. If you have doubts, if the doubts are not cleared, that is not a proper communication. So to get into proper communication, or to achieve proper communication, a lossless transmission is required. That means the data which is sent with the proper intentions and it reaches to the receiver perfectly is called proper communication or good communication. Now, we'll talk about the most commonly used varieties of communication. Most commonly used varieties of communication are what we say, verbal and non-verbal communication. Now, I'll ask you a question. What is a verbal communication? Can you give me an example of a verbal communication when I'm saying verbal or non-verbal? Verbal means I'm talking to you people. The best example that you can give me is right now what we are doing. I'm talking to you. So that is verbal communication. That is a part of verbal communication. When we people talk to each other face to face, that is verbal communication for us. In verbal communication, let it be a verbal communication or non-verbal communication, we need a language. So that is the language is something which carries our communication, which carries our message. So for verbal and non-verbal, both we need a language. Now, talking about verbal communication. If I'm saying something and you understand it, why? Because we are doing the communication with a language which both of us understand. I'm talking to you in English. You understand it. So the communication is established. If I'll talk in Telugu, maybe there will be few students who doesn't understand Telugu. I can choose to speak in Bengali. I can choose to speak in Oriya. I can choose to speak in any language. But what is the use if you people or some of you do not understand the language that I'm using to communicate? If you don't understand, that is not proper communication for me, right? So unless and until you understand it properly, so I'm not going to achieve proper communication. To establish proper communication, it is mandatory. It is must that the person who is talking, the person who is speaking, and the person who is listening, both of them should understand the language. Here, the language that I'm using is English. So both of us understand English. I believe you all understand English. You all understand what I'm saying. So establish proper communication, it is highly essential. Now, we have two things, that is verbal communication and non-verbal communication. Now we have verbal communication and non-verbal communication. When I'm telling you, we are first verbal communication, we are talking to each other in verbally, right? So when what is non-verbal communication? When I'm not talking to somebody, when I'm not using my voice, when I'm not speaking, that is non-verbal communication. I'll tell you what are the examples of non-verbal communication. Before I write, let's take 1 second and you all guess what could be the non-verbal communications. One, we can write. We are writing letters. We were writing letters. Nowadays, we are writing messages. We are writing emails. We are writing chats. These all are a part of non-verbal communication. Let it be your email, let it be a letter, let it be a chat, all comes in this writing form of non-verbal communication. Apart from writing, is there anything else which comes into this category of non-verbal communication? Is there anything? Take 1 second, guess what it could be. Yes, you all are guessing it correct. The other part is we have some actions. When we are not speaking, we have some actions and our actions speaks. So instead of the voice, see, when I'm saying in verbal communication, I'm talking to you, I'm using a language that is English. In non-verbal communication, when I'm writing a letter, I'll be writing in a language. When I'm writing an email, I'll be writing in a language. When I'm writing a chat, there also I'll be using a language. What about action? Now here you must be thinking, sir, when we are talking of action, it is our body who is acting something and the people understand. But here we are not using a language, right? So action, here we are not using a language. So how can we say verbal and non-verbal communication require a language every time? So students, let me tell you, when we are talking of action, there also we need a language, and that language, what most popularly is called body language. Most popularly, we use a term body language. You say that person's body language is not correct. When you are saying that person's body language is not correct, that means you are adding a language to his body which communicates to you and says that no, that is not correct. So it is the language attached to the body says to you, communicates to you that that person's activities or that person's attitude is not correct. So that happened because of the body language. So when you are talking of action, we are using a language, that's body language. So every time I'm telling you, whenever you are using verbal communication or non-verbal communication, all the time you need a language. Here you can use any verbal language. Here while writing you can use any language. While action we are using body language. Now I'll tell you how this happens. Now let's take for example. I ask you, body language is very important while you speak. It's not just about having an action where you can present something to somebody. Body language. If your body language is not correct, if your body language is not proper, let's take one example. If I don't understand anything, I'll be having some facial accents like this. Body language says, I do not understand. If at all you don't say, I don't understand, if you are doing this, I understand that you did not understand. Right? If somebody is bent towards back, that means he is not into the conversation. By seeing his body language, I understand he is not into the conversation. If somebody is bent towards forward, sitting like this, that means he is into the action. He is into the conversation. He is actively participating. So that's body language. So by this we can understand what kind of action he or she wants to put. Now, one more thing. Pause. So students, now let me tell you, this action or body language is not just a part of your non-verbal communication. It is also a part of your verbal communication. If your body language doesn't match with what you are speaking, then that can arise confusions in the mind of the listeners. If you are saying something and you don't believe it, if you are saying something which do not match your proper body language, I'll tell you one example. Let's take for example, I want you to sell this pen at a cost of 1000 rupees. Now I'm asking you to sell this pen at a cost of 1000 rupees. Let me tell you the actual price of this pen. It is 25 rupees only. It cost me 25 rupees, but I'm telling you to sell it at a cost of 1000 rupees. I'm not saying any features of this pen. I just want you to sell this pen at a cost of 1000 rupees. Now, if you go to a friend or if you go to somebody and you are asking them to buy this pen at 1000, you will never be able to do this because you yourself believe this pen is not worth 1000. So when you personally know that this pen doesn't worth 1000 and your body language will not reflect onto it. So what you will do, you will start requesting them. You will have a verbal communication, but you will start requesting them to buy this pen at rupees 1000 because you don't believe it. You don't think this pen can worth 1000. Now, if I'll convince you, if I'll tell you the features of this pen, which worth 1000, now you will be more confident, and after seeing all the features, once you are convinced, it will reflect in your body language. So instead of requesting, you will force your friends to buy this pen at 1000 because you believe this. By buying this pen, your friends will not regret it. So body language is more important in verbal communication also. When I'm saying something to you people, it should reflect in my body language. I should speak confidently about all these things so that you will believe this is correct. If myself is confused while speaking all these things, you will not accept to the fact that I'm teaching. So I should be more confident enough while speaking all these things to you. That should reflect in my body language. You should feel that, okay, what I'm saying is correct. Unless and until you feel it, that if that is not reflecting in my body language, that listener or audience will never accept you. So this is body language or actions which is more important in verbal communication, because action speaks louder than words. Now, coming to different other types of communication that we have. Like this is what we have studied is the basics of communication. Verbal, non-verbal communication. What is communication? Proper communication. This is the basics of communication. Now I am going to tell you something which is there in your syllabus. The types of communication. That is your horizontal communication, your vertical communication, your interpersonal communication, and grapevine. Now, let's talk about horizontal communication. When I'm talking of horizontal communication, let me ask you, what is horizontal first? We all know this is horizontal, this is vertical. The x-axis is horizontal, the y-axis is vertical. When I'm talking of this horizontal, this is horizontal. That means everything is in a level. Everything is in a level. So that is what exactly happens in horizontal communication. The communication that occurs between the people of same level. If you are talking to your colleagues of your same level, if you are talking to your friends of your same level, that is horizontal communication. Horizontal communication is very important in corporate, between the employees, between offices, because it keeps a proper communication among the people of same level. Everybody can talk to each other openly in horizontal communication because they all belong to the same level of designations. Now, I'll tell you, if you are talking to your brother, if you are talking to your sister, that's horizontal communication. Now we have one more variety of communication, that is vertical communication. Can you give me an example of vertical communication? Take a second, guess and answer. For horizontal communication, I gave you an example, your brother, your sister. That can be your horizontal communication. Now, for vertical communication, can you give me an example of similar variety? Exactly. That is, if you are talking to your father or mother, that means somebody of the other level, above level. In your case, it will be of above level. Sometimes it can be of lower level also. But I cannot say you talking to your son or daughter, because you might not. I'm sure you do not, right? But every one of us have a father and mother. So if I am talking to my father or mother, that comes into this category of vertical communication. Now I'll give you an example of office. Now, if a clerk is talking to another clerk, that comes into the example of horizontal communication. But if the branch manager is talking to a clerk, that comes in the category of horizontal communication. That means in horizontal communication, all the people comes in a same level. So this is horizontal communication. The communication that takes place between the persons of the same level are called horizontal communication. Now, vertical communication, the communication that happens with the persons of different level. Maybe this is the branch manager, maybe this is the probationary officer, maybe this is the clerk or the cashier, maybe this is the office boy. So if you have communication of this sort, this is called vertical communication. Now, when I'm talking of vertical communication, you have two more varieties of communication inside vertical communication. Now, that is downward communication, upward communication. Now, when this person wants to talk to him, we don't have any problem. But when a office boy wants to speak to the branch manager, like he needs to follow this process. He will say this to clerk, clerk will say this to probationary officer, probationary officer will say this to the manager. So they need to follow the proper process. This is upward communication, because from the lower employee to we are going to the higher most designated employee. And what is downward communication? When the branch manager try to communicate to the PO, like speaks to the probationary officer, speaks to the clerk, then speaks to the office boy. That is downward communication. So this is horizontal communication, this is vertical communication. Now we have two more things left. That is interpersonal communication and grapevine. Let me tell you about interpersonal communication. When one person is talking to two or more people, like if I'm talking to you people, this is interpersonal communication, because I'm one person talking to many of you. So that is interpersonal communication. When one person is talking to many people, that is interpersonal communication. This is very important in most of the places in corporate. Now, talking of the grapevine. What is grapevine communication? As the name indicates, it's grapevine. That means anything which is not true to 100%. Like I'll give you an example. If we say, let's talk about the time is going on. Okay, we don't know how many employees we have in a company. So, suppose the company comes and says we have 2,000 employees. Okay, we have 2,000 plus employees. Now people will start doing rumors that okay, if the company is having 2,000 employees, the company might be having 2 million of profit in a year. Nobody knows whether it is 2 million or 20 million or 20,000. So based on a particular aspect, people start doing gossips or rumors. That rumor or gossip is called grapevine. Now, I'm sorry to say this, but this is mostly happens with the girls, because they keep on having gossips every time. Like all those who are into gossips, all those who are into rumors, this grapevine is this is the best example for these. So all those who are mostly into gossips, all those who believes gossips, all those who wants to or love to have gossips, they are perfect examples of this grapevine communication. Okay, so students, today let me give you a brief of what all things that we have discussed. We spoke about what is communication. I told you what is proper communication, lossless communication, good communication. I told you what is verbal communication, what is non-verbal communication, types of non-verbal communication. I told you the other varieties of communication, your horizontal communication, your vertical communication, interpersonal communication, and grapevine. This is the basics of communication, or this is an introductory class of all this. Next, in the next class, we will be talking of your syllabus, the portion that you get in the examinations, and we will discuss in more about it. So that's all for the day. Thank you very much. And for more videos like this, subscribe our channel, like our videos, comment us in the box. Thank you very much.